growing up, I grew up in a lot of fear and just uncertainty, not knowing how life would turn, figuring, is this life, you know, where did I go from here? Am I ever going to do anything in my life? Am I ever going to be successful? You know, not only was the abuse verbally, but it was also physical abuse. So going to school, man, it was very hard. It was hard to concentrate, you know, do my schoolwork. And as far as my mom go, I really didn't know her. I just knew that my dad was very abusive towards her. About him being abusive towards her, she kind of had to flee the scene. Then she got addicted to drugs. So I really knew who she was. And I was struggling, young, like, wow, you know, who grows up without a mom? But as you get older, things don't get better, tend to get worse. So I used to run away from home. So I got to a point where I was like 15, and eventually my father pulled out a gun and was threatening to kill me. And at that time, I was like, I thought I could take him physically, but when he pulled out that gun, I was like, I can't win this. So when that happened, I turned to the streets. You know, I started hanging out with the homies that were selling drugs, packing guns, and you know, they showed me love. You know, eventually ended up getting turned on to the dope game and the ways of the streets. And I kind of wasn't really interested, but I kind of looked up to the guys because I didn't really have a father figure, because I didn't look up to my father. So I started looking up to the drug dealers because they were like father figures to me. So eventually I started selling drugs, and I can't necessarily say that I hung out with the wrong crowd, because I became the wrong crowd and people started to hang around me. And there was one time I was fingerprinted and handcuffed like 9 times in 6 months. You know, it was getting very, very toxic for me. But at the same time, I was so used to a rough environment, I started to cherish and adapt that thug life. You know, I was always wondering, like, man, you know, I never sat back and analyzed life too much. I just always kept moving. So when we fast forward to 2005, I got indicted by the federal government. And I was in the building that you see over here, the Federal Detention Center. And being in the Federal Detention Center, I was locked up and they wouldn't let me out. So I hit rock bottom. I didn't have money for a high-priced lawyer. And I was just saying, man, well, maybe I could try God now. I went to church on and off as a kid, you know. And I can't front on God because as a child, praying often helped me get through a lot of that abuse, physically and verbally. I mean, I was praying every night. You know, I was a prayer warrior before I knew what a prayer warrior was. I didn't know a bunch of scripture. I didn't know too much authority of the Bible. I just know that Jesus Christ died on the cross for my sins. And that's all I knew. And I kept praying for things to get better. Things didn't get better, but it got better eventually. So upon being placed in custody, you know, I met a guy. And at the time, look, I was stressing. I was locked up. They wasn't letting me out. I ain't had no bail. I really wasn't here for my family. It was rough. So brother said, look, Sean, don't be worried. You're not in a lot of trouble. God has set you aside for his favor. Everything will be all right. I'm like, God set me aside for his favor, and he want to get you back in fellowship with him. Hold on. God set me aside for his favor, want to get me back in fellowship with him. I ain't know what none of that meant, but I know it sound good. So I started seeking God wholeheartedly. As the scriptures say, I started reading my Bible. I started praying daily. And also, I wanted to fix my life. I started doing some reflection that things wasn't right. And as I drew closer to God, God drew closer to me. And one of the brothers said, Sean, look, God is trying to use you. I'm like, God, use who? I'm cool. I'll go to church. I read the Bible. we not, that's it. You know what I mean? I'm not holy. I'm not, none of that. I just want to attend and pray, and that's it. And he was like, no, brother, God got something for you. So I started studying. God revealed that he wanted me to minister his word. And it was challenging at first because, of course, when God wants to use you, you say no. I might have said no a few times. I'm not ready. I'm young. I use a lot of profanity. I'm looking at dirty magazines. I'm still thugged out. I don't think this is going to work. So as I draw closer to God, he drew closer to me. And he gave me a calling and a plan for my life, and let me know that my pain that I went through was not just for me, but it was help make a difference in other people's lives because of what they went through. So you fast forward, God using me in different institutions to preach and teach his word was very honor and blessing. You know, years later, I'm out of incarceration. I'm the founder, lead pastor of God is Gracious Son of David Ministries. My name is Sean Davis, and this is my story.